Now I have already created the file inside the Visual Studio Code for the saving of the time, which is index.html, style.css and script.js file. Now for completing this project, you need the final images like these currency images. So I have provided the images inside this particular lecture as a resources for this lecture. So you have to download that RAR file. So let me first show you the RAR file. So this will be the file that you need to download, and once you extract this particular file, which is a .rar file, which is a WinRAR file, so you need a WinRAR archive software to actually extract this particular compressed RAR file. Once you extract that particular RAR file, you will get this cache calculator images folder. Inside of that we have another images folder, and inside of that we have the currency images of the India. Like we have total 10 items. So you need to just simply copy these images and create a folder just like where this entire project is saved. So it is actually saved inside here, you can see right now. So this is a directory in which I have actually saved this particular project inside this particular folder, which is project 5 cache calculator application. Inside of that you can see the index.html, script.js and style.css file. Inside of that I have already created a folder, and inside of this particular folder just simply copy these all images and then paste them here. Even you can just simply cut it if you want to just take it as a backup, because I need to provide these images as a resource download for this particular lecture. So that is the reason I have actually keep these two folders as a backup purpose. Okay, once you're done with it, then you need to come to the Visual Studio Code, and then you need to add the HTML element. So the first thing is we need to actually wrap this entire thing inside the container. Okay, so for the container we have to add the division element. So coming back to the index.html, alright, so I have also launched the project inside my web browser. If you see it here, you can see now this is a cache calculator application that is actually working on this particular address part, which is actually using the Go Live server extension, and this is the final version of the application that we want to build. So the first thing is we need to use the container, and inside of the container we need to provide the h1 element, not h2. It is like h1 element, which is for the heading like cache calculator. Alright, and inside of that we need to provide the division. So to that div, and here we need to add the class row, and inside of that we need to provide the img, which is src, and then we need to provide the image. So it is actually saved inside the images directory, and the first image that we want is actually the 2000 rupees note, which is like 2000 note. And for the alt, you can just simply add the alternative text. I actually don't want to enter this alternative text, so I'm just going to remove it. If I control save it, you can see now the image is actually displayed inside this particular row division. And after that we need to add the input type. So the input type is actually this particular one. We need to add this input type so that we can accept the 2000 rupees note. Okay, means the number of 2000 rupees note. So here we need to add the input, then the type we need to deal with the number, so that is the reason I have specified here a type number. Then we need to specify the ID, so it is going to be like ET. I can simply say that the input type, so I actually do it with the ID name like ET 2000. So it is like the ID that I want to give it to this particular input element. And after that we need to apply the class so that we can use it to style it. So here we need to add the cache input, and then we need to provide the placeholder text. So I'm going to simply click on view, and here we need to click on the word wrap. So here you can see everything is just only one viewport of the Visual Studio Code. So here we need to add the enter number of rupees 2000 notes. So you can see we get the input type, and we have this placeholder text. Right now you actually didn't able to see the placeholder text because I didn't specify the placeholder as an attribute. So I'm going to cut this entire code because I randomly type it. So here I'm going to add the placeholder, and instead of that we need to paste the message. If I control save it, you can see right now we get it. Now this notes is actually not visible. That is the reason the default width of this input type is actually like smaller as compared to the number of text. But don't worry, we are going to fix this inside the CSS part of the cache calculator application. Then for displaying the 2000 rupees note entry directly by calculating its product to the element, which is like this particular span element. So we need to here place the another element, which is the span element. So span, and then we need to here provide the text. So it is act like a label. So I have actually added here a txt, then 2000, which is for denoting the 2000 rupees note. Then we need to provide the class so that we can apply the CSS, and after that here we need to provide the 0 because the default value that we want to display is actually a 0. Now you can see this particular element is also appeared. After that you just need to copy this and you have to actually paste it multiple times. Okay, so first I'm going to just tackling the two of them first, then I will be pasting the two more of them, then I need to make some changes. Here we need to first change it with the 50. So it's like 50, no, not 50, it's like 500 note. If I save it, you can see now we get the 500. Then we need to actually change here 500 notes, then this is going to be 500 and this is also going to be 500. So now you will get the idea why I've actually used these prefixes, so that I can easily update the value at the end of these variable names. Alright, so that is the reason I use this txt500, txt2000. So I just need to update this value, so it will become easy for me to actually update the values quickly. Then the next currency, which is actually for the 200 rupees note. So here we need to add the 200 rupees note. So actually it is not popping up, so we need to remove the values, which is like 200 note. If I control save it, you can see now the image is replaced. Then we need to remove this 10, then 10 from there also, and then the 10 from here also. You can see now the placeholder text is also updated, and after that we need to copy this and paste it into one more time. Here we need to update it with the 100 rupees note, then change it with the 1, then 1, then 1, save it, then you can see we get the 100 rupees note entry and also the placeholder text there. Alright, next we need to add here 50. So simply remove it, 50 note, then this is going to be like 50, and this is going to be like 50 rupees note, and this is going to be like 50. Alright, then I'm going to paste it into one more time. So now we get the two of them over. So here we need to update it like 20. Okay, and it is going to like 80, 20, and it is going to like txt 20. It is going to be rupees 20 notes. You get the 50, 20. Then we need to add here 10. This is going to be like 10 rupees notes, and this is going to be like txt 10. Save it. Now this is not removed, means the image is not changed. So here we need to update it with the 10 note. Alright, so need to press enter, and you can see now we get the 10 rupees note. Okay, and after that I'm going to copy it into two more time. Then for the one more time I'm going to paste it. Then here we need to add the 5 note, and just here we need to add 85 rupees 5, and this is going to be like 5. Save it. You can see we get the 5 rupees note. Similarly, this is for the rupees 2 notes, 82. This is going to be like 2, and then we need to change the note, which is going to be like 2 note. And then after that we need to copy it one more time and paste it here. This is going to like 1 note. This is going to be rupees 1. It is going to like 81, and this is going to be like 1. So finally we have added all the currencies of the India by replacing the code. We get our image, we get our input type, and the span element for the displaying of the result. Then the next thing that we need to place is actually a row for the reset button. So here after the end of this particular division, which is the 1 rupees note currency, make sure you are inside the container, because everything is going to be present inside the container. Alright, so make sure you are inside of the main container. Here we need to add the division element, and then we need to provide here a class which is called row, and inside of that we need to provide the button, and here we need to provide the id, which is like btn, means the id. Then we need to provide the btn reset, and then we need to provide the reset button. Alright, and then we need to provide here a division element, which is like class, and instead of that we need to provide the row and then the result part, which is like result part, and after that we need to provide the span element. Okay, and then inside of the span element we need to provide the id, which is like txt final cache. Here we need to provide the total cache, which is 0, and then we need to duplicate this particular line of the code, and then we need to update the id, which is like txt final cache in words. Okay, txt final cache in words, and this is going to be like, here we need to by default display a 0. Control save it. You can see total cache is 0, means the total cache, and then this is a 0, which is for the total cache in words. Don't worry, these are actually coming into the one line. We're going to update it with the use of this CSS, which is the next step of this particular cache calculator application.